The sky begins to tremble under an unfamiliar, overwhelming force. Massive fractures rip through the land, spreading endlessly in every direction. A suffocating pressure consumes the air, so intense it feels like reality itself is on the verge of shattering. Then, standing directly before Goroi, Zama finally reveals himself. Zama slowly scans Goroki from head to toe. Pure disbelief is written across his face, as if he still cannot comprehend how Goroki managed to reach this sacred domain. His voice booms like thunder as he speaks. "What? How did you even make it here?" At that moment, Goroki remains perfectly composed. There is no fear in his eyes, no doubt. Only a subtle, confident smile resting on his face. He speaks calmly, almost knowingly. "I knew it. I knew they would find you, no matter what." He steps forward, his voice steady. "But I also knew they would never be able to defeat you. That's why I followed them, all the way here." Hearing this, Zalama's eyes burn brighter than ever. A strange, divine presence begins to swirl around him, as if the space itself is pulsing in rhythm with his power. Goroki's voice suddenly deepens, carrying an ominous weight. "And what I'm about to tell you now may be the greatest shock you'll ever experience." Zama stays silent, staring directly at him. Then Goroki speaks, cold and unflinching. "The Omni King no longer exists. The entire world freezes. Time itself seems to stop breathing." Without hesitation, Goroki continues. "Zeno is dead." Zalama's fury erupts instantly. The pressure explodes outward, crushing everything in its path. After allowing the words to settle, Goroki delivers his final declaration. "From this moment on, I am the Omni King." Zalama completely loses control. His power surges violently, darker and more destructive than ever before. Goroki steps forward, his voice sharp and threatening. "You have two options. Submit to my command and serve me, or I kill you and take the golden dragon for myself." A cruel smile forms on his face. "And trust me, I will enjoy it." Zalama roars in rage, his voice echoing throughout the entire dimension. "I have only ever recognized one Omni King." He points directly at Goroki. "And that was Zeno. You killed him, and I will never kneel to anyone again." Goroki exhales slowly. That smile never fades. "So that's your answer." His eyes narrow. "Then I see it clearly now. You're nothing but a fool, someone desperate to throw his life away." Suddenly, Goroki unleashes his power. A monstrous aura explodes around him, shaking the entire dimension to its core. "You're truly prepared for this," Zalama says firmly. Goroki's smile sharpens. "Excellent." In the next instant, he vanishes. Moving faster than lightning, Goroki charges straight towards Zalama, his hand blazing with crackling energy. Zalama doesn't hesitate for even a fraction of a second. He steps forward and meets the attack head-on. The collision is catastrophic. The ground splits apart violently as massive shock waves tear through the sky. The explosion is so immense that even Kura and Kaido are forced to retreat far into the distance. Kura stares in disbelief. This power. I've never witnessed strength like this in my entire life. Kaido clenches his fists, shock and fury mixing on his face. Who would have thought the Dragon God could fight at this level? This feels Omni King tier. High above, Goroki and Zalama clash repeatedly in midair. One strikes from above, the other counters from below. Their speed is beyond comprehension, far faster than the eye can track. Only violent bursts of energy remain visible, illuminating the sky like divine lightning. Suddenly, Goroki pulls his arm back. A massive explosion erupts, as he fires a devastating energy blast straight at Zalama. Zalama catches it with both hands. The energy compresses violently between his palms, yet he doesn't move an inch. His eyes burn with fury. Is that all you've got? In an instant, he reverses the flow of power, sending the blast straight back toward Goroki. Goroki watches it approach and smiles. Beautiful. He dodges effortlessly, but everything behind him is completely erased from existence. Before the dust can even begin to settle, Goroki suddenly vanishes and reappears right in front of Zalama. Without wasting a single moment, he unleashes a brutal barrage of punches and kicks. The assault is non-stop, strike after strike, each blow carrying god-level force. Zalama blocks every single attack. Their fists and legs collide with such overwhelming power that the impact alone sends violent shockwaves through space. With each exchange, reality itself begins to lay apart. The ground beneath them collapses, crumbling as if the dimension can no longer withstand their presence. Goroki narrows his eyes. Who would have imagined a dragon god could reach this level of power? His focus sharpens. Let's see how long you can keep up. In that instant, Goroki releases even more of his strength. A terrifying aura erupts behind him, so immense it feels as if a true god has descended onto the battlefield. Slowly, he extends his hand forward. Sharp, blade-like energy begins to take form. Then, without hesitation, he draws his sword. The moment the blade is revealed, absolute silence consumes the battlefield. Even the air seems to freeze in place. Kaido panics. That's Goroki's blood sword. Kura's expression turns grim. No one can survive that blade. Goroki doesn't hesitate. He swings the sword straight at Zalama. The slash is so powerful that the sky itself splits apart, torn clean in two. But then, something unimaginable happens. Zalama calmly raises his hand and catches the blade with his bare palm. Everything stops. Time itself feels frozen. Goroki's eyes widen in disbelief. What? That's impossible. Kura and Kaido shout in unison. No way. That sword has no equal. How did he stop it? Zalama looks directly into Goroki's eyes, his voice calm and unwavering. What's wrong, Goroki? His grip tightens around the blade. You look surprised. Then, with cold confidence, he speaks again. I'm not as weak as you thought. In the next instant, Zalama gathers all of his power into a single blow and drives a devastating punch straight into Goroki's face. Goroki tries to block, but the force is overwhelming. He's sent flying across the battlefield, slamming into the ground with catastrophic force. The impact completely obliterates the surrounding area. Kura and Kaido stare in stunned silence. Kura snarls in rage. That's it. I'll handle him myself. But before he can move, the entire battlefield begins to shake violently. A strange, swirling energy rises from deep beneath the ground. Kaido's face turns pale. Wait, Kura. Something's wrong. As Kura turns back, they see Goroki slowly standing up from the massive crater. There isn't a single trace of pain on his face. Goroki rolls his neck slightly and speaks calmly. It's been a very long time since anyone managed to hit me that hard. A faint smile appears, but there's no joy in it, only madness. Zalama stares at him coldly. Now you understand. His voice carries absolute authority. Underestimating the dragon god was the greatest mistake of your life. Goroki slowly lifts his gaze, locking eyes with Zalama. In a calm, chilling tone, he replies, This wasn't a mistake, Zama. This is only the beginning. In the very next instant, Goroki releases all of his energy at once. A massive ki explosion erupts from his body, triggering a catastrophic blast that tears through the battlefield. The sky itself shifts color as violent lightning races through the air. Kura and Kaido are forced to retreat once more. Kaido mutters in shock. This power is completely different from before. Around Goroki, an even more terrifying aura forms. His eyes glow intensely as his voice echoes across the battlefield. "You caught my sword," Goroki declares. "But that doesn't mean you've won." With a single violent motion, he rips the blade free from Zalama's grip. Zalama is pushed back for just a fraction of a second, and Goroki takes full advantage of it. He drives a brutal kick straight into Zalama's chest. Zalama's body is sent flying through the air. But in the very next moment, Zalama regains complete control, halts himself mid-air, and charges straight back toward Goroki. "So this is your power," Zalama says coldly. "But tell me, what will it truly accomplish?" His eyes burn with challenge. "Show me everything you've got." As those words leave his mouth, Zama pushes his dragon energy to its absolute limit. Behind him, an enormous golden dragon begins to materialize. Its massive form dominates the sky, eyes blazing with divine fury. With a single roar, the heavens themselves tremble. Kura whispers in disbelief. "So this is the true form of the dragon god." Kaido speaks quietly, his voice heavy with fear. If he fully awakens, he could plunge the entire multiverse into chaos. Goroki's expression changes. The smile disappears completely. For the first time, his face turns cold and serious. "It seems," Goroki says calmly, "I'll have to stop holding back as well." He raises his sword toward the sky. Instantly, black and silver energy begins to coil around the blade, twisting violently as it gathers, growing denser with every second. Zama senses it and narrows his eyes. This energy, it feels like an Omni King. Goroki answers in a low, steady voice. "Exactly." A pause. "And now you understand." His eyes sharpen. "I've already gone far beyond that." In the next instant, both of them charge forward at full speed. Dragon energy and divine power collide head-on. A colossal explosion erupts, tearing through the battlefield and further destabilizing the dimension. The clash doesn't stop, punch after punch, kick after kick, neither of them holding back for even a moment. The fight becomes relentless, unforgiving. As the battle rages, Goroki thinks to himself, "If he keeps pushing me like this, I won't have a choice. I'll have to reveal my true level." Suddenly, Goroki leaps backward, creating distance. The moment he retreats, Zama becomes strangely calm. Something feels wrong. Zama narrows his eyes. Why did he pull back just now? Then it happens. Goroki extends both hands forward. Between his palms, a swirling sphere of energy begins to form. This power feels different, unnatural, as if creation and destruction themselves are sealed within it. In a calm, chilling voice, Goroki speaks. "You are the dragon god, so this attack is meant only for you." With those words, he hurls the energy straight towards Zalama. As the blast approaches, the entire dimension trembles violently once again. But Zalama does not panic. Without fear, he raises both of his hands. Behind him, the golden dragon grows even larger, its overwhelming presence dominating everything around it. Zama roars, "Dragon God Barrier!" In the next instant, the dragon spreads its massive wings wide. A divine shield forms before Zalama. Goroki's ki blast crashes directly into the barrier. A catastrophic explosion follows. The shockwave is so powerful that Kura and Kaido are forced to retreat even farther back. Kura stares in disbelief. He actually blocked Goroki's attack. Kaido is visibly shaken. That barrier just endured an Omni King level strike. Slowly, the energy fades. The smoke begins to clear. And there he stands. Zalama, completely upright. His clothes are slightly damaged, but his stance is firm, unshaken, ready to continue. Zama looks straight at Goroki and speaks coldly. That's all? If you truly wish to become the Omni King, you'll need far more power than this. This is not enough. Goroki remains silent for a moment. Then he starts to laugh. Not amused laughter. Dark. Dangerous. You're really forcing my hand, Goroki says. In the next instant, he raises his sword once more. But this time, it doesn't merely emit light. A strange, unfamiliar energy begins to pour from Goroki's sword. Space itself starts to warp and twist around the blade, bending unnaturally, as if it can no longer hold its shape. Kaido panics. That technique. Kura's face turns grim. That looks like a forbidden Omni art. Goroki raises his voice with absolute authority. Omni Sever. He swings his sword. A horrifying slash tears forward, not merely cutting through the air, but slicing straight through space and time itself. The fabric of reality splits apart as the attack surges towards Zalama. Zalama's eyes narrow instantly. Without hesitation, he gathers every ounce of his power and roars. Golden Dragon, manifest! In the next moment, the dragon behind him fully awakens. The massive golden dragon comes completely to life, unleashing a thunderous roar that shakes the entire dimension. It charges head-on toward Goroki's slash. Omni Sever and the golden dragon collide. A devastating impact explodes outward, sending shockwaves ripping across the battlefield. Both forces are pushed back violently from the collision. Zalama stands there, breathing heavily. And for the first time, Goroki looks truly serious. Zama locks his eyes onto him. Now do you understand? This fight was never going to be easy for you. Goroki slowly replies, his voice steady. You're absolutely right. And that's exactly what I wanted. Suddenly, Goroki closes his eyes. The violent energy around him begins to fade. Kura looks confused. What is he doing? Kaido frowns. The battle is at its peak. Why would he suppress his power now? Then, Goroki opens his eyes. The instant he does, the entire battlefield falls into complete silence. No wind, no sound. Even the air itself feels frozen. The sudden calm puts Zalama on edge. This silence, something is wrong. Goroki stands perfectly still. There is no blazing aura around him anymore, yet somehow his presence feels heavier than ever before. In a low, controlled voice, he speaks. Power isn't just about screaming or firing massive blasts. He looks straight at Zalama. Sometimes, the most dangerous power is completely silent. Kura's expression tightens with fear. He whispers to Kaido. This feels just like Omni King Zeno. Kaido nods slowly. You're right. I can feel that pressure. Goroki calmly raises his hand. This time, there is no light, no visible ki blast, only a faint vibration. In the next instant, space shatters behind Zalama. Zalama turns immediately, but Goroki is already gone. Before he can react, Goroki appears directly above him. "What?" Zalama shouts. Too late. Goroki drives a devastating kick straight into Zalama's chest. Zalama is slammed downward at full force, crashing deep into the ground. Kura stares in shock. No blast, yet that attack was terrifying. Zalama stabilizes himself with his energy and rises back into the air. His eyes burn with rage as he stares at Goroki. "So you've changed your fighting style," Goroki replies calmly, his voice low. "Because now you're beginning to understand. This battle isn't just about raw power." As he speaks, Goroki raises a finger and draws a small circle in the air. Inside it, a strange symbol begins to rotate. Kaido panics. That symbol. Kura's eyes widen. That's the Omni Seal. Zalama's eyes widen in shock. "You can't use the Omni Seal." Goroki gives a faint smile. "Who said I can't? I can do this because I'm no longer bound by any rules." In the next moment, the symbol expands violently. The entire area begins to compress inward, as if reality itself is forming an invisible cage around Zalama. Zalama releases his energy, but something is wrong. His power feels suppressed. Enraged, he roars, "You're limiting my strength, coward." Goroki looks at him calmly. "I'm simply reminding you, who's in control here?" Behind Zalama, the golden dragon roars once more. Zalama clenches his fists. "No matter what happens, I am the dragon god. I will not lose." With everything he has, he charges straight at Goroki. Once again, they rush toward each other head on. But the moment Zalama moves at full power, the Omni Seal erupts with blinding light. Reality itself feels tightly gripped. Zalama's speed suddenly drops. His eyes widen. What just happened? He reaches forward, but his movements slow unnaturally, his strength restrained by an unseen force pressing down on him from every direction. Goroki looks at him in silence. Then, without raising his voice, he speaks with absolute certainty. The Omni Seal doesn't just restrain power, it governs existence itself. Kura's face turns pale. He glances at Kaido and speaks quietly, almost in fear. If that's true, then this is the first time Zama has ever faced something capable of truly binding him. Behind Zalama, the golden dragon roars even louder, spreading its massive wings across the sky. Zalama shouts in defiance, "No matter what you do, you cannot bind a dragon god." As those words leave his mouth, Zalama begins compressing his dragon energy even further. The divine power around him condenses violently. The true form of the dragon god starts manifesting directly in front of his body, as if his very existence is being reforged. His eyes burn brighter than ever before. Kaido panics. He's condensing his divine form. Kura adds gravely, "At this level, the dragon god turns himself into a weapon. He becomes a living divine armament." In the next instant, Zalama slams his foot into the ground. The impact shakes the Omni Seal violently. For a brief moment, the seal trembles. Then, Zalama explodes forward at full speed, charging straight toward Goroki once again. For the first time, Goroki looks slightly surprised. Inside his mind, a single thought forms. He awakened even further under the pressure of the seal. Zalama appears directly in front of him and unleashes a merciless storm of punches and kicks. Each strike crashes with terrifying force. With every hit, cracks begin spreading across the Omni Seal itself. Goroki blocks each blow, but for the first time, he's forced to step back. Zalama roars, Now do you see? A dragon god cannot be suppressed, and I won't be stopped so easily." With those words, Zalama launches a devastating uppercut. The blow sends Goroki flying upward, his body crashing backward through the air. Kura's eyes widen in shock. He actually hit Goroki. Kaido mutters in disbelief. It looks like this battle has finally reached equal ground. Midair, Goroki regains his balance. A faint smile appears on his face. "That was impressive," he says calmly. "This is the moment I've been waiting for." As he speaks, Goroki places his hand over his chest. A strange, overwhelming light begins to leak from within his body. Kura tries to speak, but before he can finish, Goroki shouts with authority, "Omni Core, release!" A massive explosion erupts. The Omni Seal begins to shatter violently, fragments of distorted space breaking apart around them. Zalama skids backward, staring at Goroki in shock. Around Goroki now, it's no longer just raw power, it's authority. In a low voice, Zalama speaks. "This power, only the Omni King possesses it." Goroki looks straight at him. "That's exactly why I told you," he replies. "I am the Omni King." Slowly, Goroki raises a single finger. As it rises, a strange, chilling wind spreads across the battlefield. This wind isn't natural, it carries judgment itself, as if a final decision has already been made. Zalama locks eyes with him. For the first time, fear flashes across Zalama's face. Quietly, he speaks. "So, this is your decision." Without blinking, Goroki answers, "Yes, now you finally understand this battle, and your existence." Goroki slowly lowers his finger. In the next instant, from the sky itself, a terrifying Omni Force descends. It isn't just light, it carries judgment. Zalama gathers every last ounce of his power. Behind him, the golden dragon roars with overwhelming fury, spreading its massive wings across the torn sky. Zalama screams at the top of his lungs, "Golden Dragon! Final roar!" The dragon opens its mouth and unleashes a roar so powerful it shakes all of creation itself. Dragon God energy and Omni authority collide head-on. The resulting explosion is so immense that the entire dimension begins to tear apart. As if reality itself can no longer survive their clash, Kura and Kaido are hurled far away, their bodies crashing violently into the shattered ruins. The impact leaves the land trembling. Kura screams in terror. This collision, there's nothing more horrifying than this. Within the raging clash of energies, cracks begin to spread across Zalama's body. His form starts breaking apart, piece by piece. Behind him, the golden dragon roars even louder, as if refusing to abandon its master until the very end. Then, Goroki's voice echoes through the collapsing dimension. "Zalama, you were a terrifying force, but you belong to an era, and every era must come to an end." In the next instant, the Omni Force intensifies beyond measure. Zalama's body shatters completely. His voice fades as he cries out one final time, "No, Golden Dragon." And just like that, Zalama's existence is erased. Suddenly, everything goes silent. No roars, no explosions. Only remnants of Golden Dragon energy drift quietly through the air. Kura and Kaido stare in disbelief. Kaido whispers, "The Dragon God has been defeated." Slowly, the remaining golden energy begins to move, flowing toward Goroki. Goroki extends his hand. He absorbs the entire power, of the golden dragon into his body. At that very moment, a massive golden dragon manifests behind him. But this dragon is no longer Zalama's. It belongs to Goroki. Goroki's eyes turn gold, shining with divine authority. An overwhelming pressure erupts from his presence alone. Kura mutters in shock. So that means... Kaido finishes the thought. The golden dragon has a new master. Behind Goroki, the golden dragon roars once, then lowers its head, bowing in acknowledgement of its true ruler. Goroki speaks calmly. This unmatched power is mine now. He takes a single step forward. Space itself bends beneath his feet. The golden dragon's energy responds instantly, completely under his control. Behind him, the massive dragon opens its eyes. Kura and Kaido remain frozen, unable to move. Shaking, Kura whispers, "This pressure, it's even more terrifying than Zalama's ever was." Kaido takes a slow breath. Now I understand why he called himself the Omni King. Because he truly is one. There is no power beyond this. Goroki slowly raises his head. In his eyes now is not just strength, but the calm certainty of a ruler. Zalama's power was incomplete, Goroki says. He merely controlled the golden dragon, but I have become it. As his words end, the golden dragon roars violently. Its voice echoes across the entire dimension, sending shattered debris flying in every direction. Kura speaks in awe. This isn't just power. This is a ruler's declaration. Goroki extends his hand forward. At his command, the golden dragon opens its mouth. But there is no attack. Only a silent warning. Goroki says calmly, "I'm glad to see you both survive this battle." Kaido steps forward respectfully. "Goroki, we are grateful you've reached this level. What are your orders? We are ready to follow whatever you command." Goroki looks down at them. There is no emotion on his face. "For now," he says, "there are no orders." Kura looks shocked. "What do you mean?" Goroki steps forward and clenches his fist. The golden dragon's energy sinks deeper into his body. "I want to test this power." In the very next moment, Goroki releases only a tiny fraction of his energy. Just a fraction. Yet distant dimensions begin to tremble simultaneously. Cracks spread across the sky itself. Kura screams, "Stop, Goroki. This could cause unimaginable destruction. You already possess absolute power." But Goroki silences him instantly. In a cold, controlled voice, he says, "Be quiet, Kura. What's wrong? Are you afraid? Don't worry, I won't kill you." The golden dragon lets out a low growl, as if agreeing with its master. Goroki closes his eyes briefly. Everything feels frozen. Then he opens them again. There is no anger, no joy, no mercy, only judgment. Behind him, the golden dragon spreads its wings fully. Goroki speaks once more. The golden dragon was never just power. It was balance. And now, balance is in my hands. Suddenly, far away, deep within the depths of space, something stirs. An unfamiliar movement, as if something has not yet ended. Kura's eyes widen in shock. "Wait." Kaido steps forward, stunned. This energy, it doesn't feel like Goroki's. The entire area begins to shake violently. Even the golden aura wavers for just a brief moment. Goroki suddenly freezes. Slowly, he turns around. Shock spreads across his face. Under his breath, he whispers, "No, this can't be what I'm thinking." Kaido looks at him nervously. "Hey, Goroki, Is this your power? Kura immediately shakes his head. No, this isn't his power. At that very moment, a new scion appears directly in front of Goroki. Space itself bends unnaturally around this figure, as if reality is struggling to remain intact in his presence. Goroki lowers his head at once, his posture turning respectful. "So, you've finally chosen to appear," he says quietly. "I was just about to inform you, Lord Gorama. Now his name is revealed. Gorama." Gorama looks down at Goroki, his gaze cold and unforgiving. "So the task I assigned you," he says slowly. "You actually completed it." His eyes narrow. "And yet you didn't think it was necessary to report back to me." The pressure intensifies. "Tell me, Goroki," Gorama continues, "were you considering betraying me? Or have you forgotten who I am? Did this small taste of power blind you?" Goroki answers immediately, his voice firm but controlled. "No, Lord Gorama, that's not the case." Gorama lets out a faint smirk. "Good, and it better remain that way." His voice hardens. "You should remember one thing very clearly. You are nothing more than a pawn, and every pawn exists to follow my commands." He steps closer. "I know you hunger for power. I understand that desire. But never forget, if you even think about stepping out of line, you cannot imagine what I will do to you." His eyes burn with certainty. "You are not special. There are others just like you. I've sent them to different corners of countless multiverses." Gorama turns away. "For now, I'll be leaving. There are far more important matters that require my attention." He pauses mid-step. "But I expect to hear from you soon, after you complete your next task." Then, without turning back, Gorama speaks with absolute confidence. "From this moment onward, nothing can stop us from building our empire. Not gods, not angels. No one possesses the power to erase the empire of Lord Gorama." His presence grows heavier, and now after 5,000 years, we will no longer rule just one multiverse. We will rule all multiverses. The air becomes unbearably heavy. Silence follows. And then, Lord Gorama vanishes, leaving behind a truth far more terrifying than any battle that has come before.